Hello, it's Debbie Gilbert from the Business Awards Show, and I'm also the founder of the Best Business Women Awards. And today I'm joined by Karen Davies, who is the Passion Profit Mentor. She has a creative studio in Kent, Pink Lemon Limited, and she is passionate about helping female entrepreneurs grow their business in a variety of ways. She helped me with my awards masterclass, which is my online course that you can just go along online, buy the course and study it at your own time. So Karen and I worked together probably about 2 years ago, Karen, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So I'm really excited to have her here today. And she's going to share a bit about her business, her journey, and also about the awards that she's won as well. So welcome, Karen.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for
Oh,
having me today. I'm excited.
yeah,
So
it's
thank
great.
you.
Because I think we met at a networking event, I've got a feeling.
Yeah.
And you just
Yes.
said, this is what I do. And I thought, oh my goodness, I need this woman because I was delivering these awards masterclasses all the time. And it's very time consuming and it's the same content. So we kind of worked together and put my course together. And now I can just send people there. And it's great. I love it.
Yeah. It's brilliant, isn't it? You get your time back.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about your background, Karen, and what took you to your business today.
So I started my business back in 2017. So I've been around a little bit.
Mhm.
I was working at a design agency, and I just got to the point where, I'd had my children and I was just questioning everything. And I really wanted to be around for my children. I wanted to do school run. And when I went back to work after having the children, it it wasn't feasible for me to be home at that time.
Mm.
And my husband and I, we'd waited a long time to have our children. We kind of put it off, and I just felt like I didn't want to compromise on that. So I just woke up one morning to my husband's horror, and I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to start my own business, and I'm going to call the shots. So it was all very impulsive. And then I think a month later, I handed my notice in, and yeah, it was happening. And I think that really put me on a bit of a journey of trying to figure out what it was that I was good at. Because at the time, I knew that I could design and do all the creative stuff, but doing it for an employer and then stepping out on your own and trying to convince people that you're actually good at what you do and that you can help them is a whole different ball game. But what I realized was that the companies that I was coming across, they weren't focusing on their branding. They were
Mm.
having these websites, the websites weren't converting, and there was a real lack of messaging and purpose behind what they were creating. And my knack, if you like, was my branding. So that kind of sort of set me up to focus in on that area.
Mm.
And then come lockdown, I decided to shift over into the online space because, as all us entrepreneurs know, that the business had been affected. And whilst I was running a lot of creative projects at that time, I was also very burnt out. And with everything going on in the economy, with COVID and the pandemic, and looking in on my business in a way that I'd never done before, I sort of realized that actually the thing that I was creating wasn't very sustainable long term if everything was on my shoulders. Because I could sell my services and I could bring on the clients, but then it was all down to me. And the only way I could really scale was if I brought in a team. And
Mm.
I had associates that I worked with, but I didn't have any intention of recruiting. That was not what I wanted.
Mm.
So that's what started to get me thinking about sort of um, what is scalable, what can be done where we can create it once and we can sell it on repeat and therefore have our time back. And it's just seemed to happen at a time when I'd already created my first online course, which was a branding course, and I was making sales as well in that period. And so I think that kind of told me that there was something there that I needed to explore. And so that's why I then shifted over into this space and
Mm. That's
not really looked back since, really.
So passive profit is all about really creating this one-time course or several courses. And what you do is you'll mentor people in order to do that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
That's obviously what you did with me. And you did give me a bit of added help as well at the time, I remember. because I don't think I could have done it without you. And it's a bit like the podcast, I got Lindsay's help with that. So how do you help entrepreneurs? Do you actually hone down the ideas with them, or do they come to you with a baked idea that you can then, get on and finish it off with them?
So when I come into contact with somebody that knows that an online course makes sense for them, often what will happen is that they'll have a seed of an idea. Maybe they've been delivering some kind of service that's been helping a client, and maybe they're particularly interested in a certain topic, and they feel like there is obviously something there that they want to explore and create. And what I do is I help them to see it from a different perspective, because often when people think about creating courses, they think about what they want and what works for them, when actually an online course is for the students that are taking the course, because an online course is a way of delivering a solution. So often in the very early stages, I work with them to refine that idea, but also to get them thinking about what is it they're actually creating, and what are those results that they're actually teaching their student, and what does that look like in terms of that student's life. So here we're looking at the transformational side of it and what it actually does for them. So they do have that idea, but often by the time we start working together, that idea is kind of expanded, and then they see it from a very different perspective, one that is more student focused.
I think that was really good advice there, because I think you do need to think about what, the end game really. And I think with my course, a lot of people have commented that it's really easy to follow, and it's like I'm actually there with them because I went down the route of the recorded videos. And I think sometimes people need that personal touch with you, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think with the technology available now, and what we have at our fingertips, we can almost be there on that person's journey alongside them, but we don't have to be there in person. And I think
No.
that's one of the best things about it, is you get to share your expertise and your knowledge, and you get to support and help people. But it doesn't require you to have to give your time in
Mm.
person over and over again, because we're all busy, and there's never enough time. Even if we plan for the time just for whatever reason disappears. And
Mm.
so having to be there to deliver workshops in person and webinars in person over and over again, and training, it can be exhausting.
Mm.
So at least this way, by automating it, you can be there with your student, but for you as a business owner, it allows you to scale your efforts and to create more impact. So
Mm.
yeah, I think it's win-win.
And then yesterday you launched something rather special, didn't you?
I did. Yesterday I launched my membership. So this has been something that, like I was saying to you, has been in the, sort of been working on for a while. And I've been, in the past 2, 3 months, I've been in a soft launch, but it's very exciting. What the membership does, it allows me to support my members, my students, on a deeper level. Because once they've created their course, they're going to need to sell it. They're going to need to market it. And I get to teach them things and support them in other areas as well. And this is going to be, I'm hoping this will work really well, because it will tie it back to my branding business.
Mm.
Because instead of focusing on branding businesses, I can help brand online courses.
Mm.
And because they're products that sit under, a business, they do still need, that design support. So I'm hoping I can bring a lot of my skills into this membership to support my students further.
So these are people who've already put their courses together. They've got them online, and then
No,
they're
no,
no,
no. They're often, yeah. So the people that are coming in now
yeah,
don't have a course.
they
So
haven't
that
got one.
No, they're at that point where they've got a seed of an idea, and they're now looking to explore that idea further and start creating something around that idea. So what I get to do through my own training and
Mhm.
live masterclasses and live sessions that I get to host, I can then guide them through that process and
So it's a
support
group
them.
program, not one to one, obviously. Yeah.
It is a membership, but it has sort of like personal touch points throughout
Yeah.
throughout the journey. So it isn't a program, because a program often is a start date and end date. What the membership is, it's an ongoing journey
Oh,
that they can be a
okay.
part of. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So is it an annual membership or quarterly, or how does it
No,
work?
it's just monthly. It's
So
just monthly.
monthly. So they can just
Yes.
dip out when they want, when they feel that
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
got what
So
they
first,
need.
exactly. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to have to hold people to account so that they
Mm,
had to sort of be with me for a certain set of time. They
mm,
can be with me for a short or as long as what they deem necessary. I hope they will find tremendous value and they won't want to leave. But
mm.
I'm, if they want to leave, they can. But of course, I will keep building something that they'll want to hopefully remain a part
Mm.
of. That's what
So
my plan is anyway.
if any of our listeners are listening to the podcast and they've got a seed of an idea for an online course, then they need to head over and look at your website, don't they? And talk to you about your
Yes.
membership. Right, we've got it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Okay. So next up, let's talk about awards. So you've had 2 awards with Kent Women in Business. Tell me about Kent Women in Business. I must get the founder of Kent Women in Business on my podcast and interview her, because it sounds like a wonderful, wonderful awards. Tell me more about it.
Oh, it really is. It is a celebration of women in business, and that's really what it is. I've been going for, so prior to winning the awards, I had probably been attending for about 3 years prior.
Mm.
And for the first couple of years, I was nominated, and then I got finalist, and then the third year I got runner up, and then the following 2 years, then I won the awards. But the entire journey of just being part of that event has been incredible. And very early on, when I was new to business, it felt so inspiring watching these women just absolutely smash it. And it was just it's one of those evenings that you walk away, regardless of whether you win or what,
Mm.
runner up or whatever, you just come away just feeling so lucky and fortunate to be a part of such a wonderful community. So that's why I kept going. But I always remember sitting there thinking, one year it will be me. So when it all happened, it was absolutely amazing. But it's just an incredible community to be a part of. And there are so many businesses here in Kent, so many female-run businesses, and you don't realise until you go to one of these events and you see it, and you realise that you're actually part of something really incredible. So yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
So what do you gain, do you think, from entering and winning awards? What's the gain been for you?
I think for me, it was kind of validation
Mm,
for the fact that, like, I always knew that what I did was good. Like, I knew that because I would get client feedback, and I would have sort of really great results with clients and all that. But I think for me, when I won my first one, it was a validation that I was a serious business owner. And I remember saying to my husband, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is so amazing, because I felt like I've been accepted.
mm,
And I probably always had been, but I think for me, it kind of gave me that validation that I had been accepted. I was being perceived as a female business owner,
mm,
which, obviously I had been previous, but I think for me that was it. Um, and it was just great to just be a part of something. I
mm.
remember coming home and showing my kids, and that was amazing. That was amazing, because then that opens up the conversation about, look what happens when you work hard.
Yeah, at school. Yeah,
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 that's
that's
it as
right.
well. So, and I remember them saying
Mm.
they went to school and they were telling all their friends, and
Oh.
all of that. So it's a layered thing, I think. But for
Mm.
me, it gave me that validation that maybe I was looking for, as to be accepted into such an amazing community.
Did you enter this year? Was it on this year?
Do you know, I didn't. With Ken Women in Business, you're normally nominated by a client or
Right.
somebody that's worked with you. This year I made a conscious decision that I didn't want to do it,
Mm.
because I've been in this transition mode.
Yeah. So you want to
And
wait.
yeah, and I didn't feel like I was in a place where I was deserving to be nominated.
Mm.
And because my plans were all in the air. I didn't know what it was that my next move was going to be. But I think now I've obviously settled on, I'm running this membership and I'm going to grow. I perhaps have plans in the future.
And would you look at national awards now? Now you've got a couple of local ones under your belt.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, because I have a really good idea about my business now. I
Yeah.
think for the past few years, because I've been in this real transition mode, and I've been creating digital products and selling my online courses and doing all of that, but I wasn't quite, this is it, this is what I want to really,
Mm.
I knew kind of where I wanted to be, but I didn't have it all figured out. But I think now, I've been, over the past few years, I've been creating a business with multiple revenue streams, because what I talk about, passive profit, I believe that that's the way that we're going to build successful businesses that are sustainable long term. And so, because I've been on my own journey, putting these things in place, it hadn't felt right whilst I've been sort of doing all of that. But I think going forward, I think with what I'm doing and what I'm growing, yeah, I may do.
What's the common sort of mistake that you see people make when they set up an online course? Because you must go off and look at people's online courses. What do you think the common mistake is people make?
I think the biggest mistake is not having a solid framework in place. I
Mm.
think sometimes people come at it from a place of, this is what I think people need to know, rather than sitting down and mapping out a framework of the journey, the pathway that they're going to be taking their students on, and really clarifying what exactly they're going to be teaching and what that means for the student. And I think sometimes people approach it from a place of, this is what I think they need, as
Mm.
opposed to, actually, I'm going to meet them where they're at. And I'm
Mm.
going to take them to where I know they are looking to get to, because this is a challenge that they're facing, and I can help with that. So I think it's just getting that
Lack of
framework in place.
research, probably. Yeah, lack
Yeah,
of
and just having
an
a really solid,
understanding.
having a really solid framework.
And what makes the best online courses? What do you think is the really good must-haves?
I think the best online courses are engaging.
Mm.
They provide quick wins, and they, um, as I said, they take a student on a journey in a way that immerses the student in that learning.
Mm.
So by the end of it, the student has had a really positive experience, but also they've come away equipped with the skills and the knowledge that they were expecting from that course. And then that's obviously helped them to move forward.
So you think for you, online course creation is the future for your business? That's what you're building now.
Yeah, I think that in order to build a sustainable business that doesn't require me to give everything that I've got, I
Mm.
think it has to be a business that is scalable. And I think online courses is the most scalable model that you can build.
Mm.
And I think it's a great way of leveraging what you know, because everybody's got this knowledge and this expertise.
Mm.
And I think by leveraging that, you can build a really good, powerful business by just simply by creating an online course.
Mm.
Um, and you could be very strategic with it as well. So, there's many things you can do to really support your business's growth.
Definitely. 100%. I think as well, what I see a lot of is people create the courses and then they don't do anything to market them afterwards. It's almost like they automatically think because they've created it, people are just going to
Yeah,
find
they're all
it
going
and
to
they
flock.
can't.
Yeah,
So that membership that you've got puts a lot of that into play for people and helps them market their courses.
yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the things with my own online course that I was selling. It teaches people how to create an online course, but I'm really very aware that it's got to be about the environment that you're selling in. And there is so much noise out there about digital marketing and how to grow an audience and how to do X, Y, and Z. But there's not one route for everybody. Like there's so many variables. And I think it becomes overwhelming. I think creating an online course is overwhelming, so let alone selling it. And so what my intention is through this membership is that I get to support sort of my members with actionable strategies that they can implement in order to get those sales, because it is about, you know, getting sales and making money from your efforts. So I didn't want to stop the conversation, but, you know, at the end of them having this course, actually what I want to do is I want to then help them to kind of get it out there and get the right students on board.
Yeah, which is great. So what's your longer term plans over the next year or so? What are you going to be doing? Building your membership?
Yeah, so I have my own online course, I have my digital products, but alongside that, sort of my core offer now is my membership. My plan is to scale it, and to bring more people in and to support more people. I very much plan to keep a very personal touch on the membership. Um, so because it's really important that people aren't just a number, they are actually members. And I really want to help get people over the line with their courses. So I've got to figure out how to do my membership in the best possible way and how I can show up for my members in the best possible way. But my plan is to grow this so that I can support more people.
Oh, it's all sounding amazing.
Oh,
Mm.
hopefully.
Well, you know, if you were sort of going back to the beginning of all those years ago, what advice would you give to yourself when you started your business, if you could reflect back
God,
on?
it's interesting because I've just started working with a client that's doing an online course on public speaking, and that was one of my nemesis at the very beginning, you know, the whole getting out speaking and all that. I think if I could give myself a piece of advice and seeing where I'm at now from where I was, it would just be to have more faith in myself. I think we all have what it is we need to have, but I think sometimes we don't utilize it because we get in our own way and we let our head take over and we let that fear take over. And I think what I've learned is my success happens when I'm in a space where I'm all in, and then I feel I've got this, and then the fear, I can push it away. So I just think it's just about having more faith. I think we're often guided on the path that we end up on, and that's not by coincidence. Um, so I think if we just lent in and had a bit more faith in ourselves, we would maybe accelerate that bit faster.
Yeah,
Because
no, I think that's right. It's about having that self-belief, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And just going back to the awards, the one thing that I remember coming away thinking, you know, the next day when you review, you know, it's all going in your head and you're just like, wow, that was amazing. It it was just how like some of the stories and the things that people had overcome in order to achieve the success that they achieved. And that wouldn't have happened had they not had that belief in themselves and support, you know, had the right people around them. So I think we just have to kind of, you know, sort of take from that what we can and just like say, believe that what we want is attainable and we can have it.
Oh, it's a good point to end the podcast on that, I think. What a good note.
Oh,
Achieve and you believe and you will achieve. I think that's the saying, isn't it?
100%. Yeah,
Yes,
100%.
brilliant. Well, you are definitely somebody who is very inspirational, and it was great working with you. And I highly recommend working with Karen if you need help with an online course. And head over also, and you know, you need help with awards, go and get the awards masterclass, because
Yeah, 100%. It is
I'll put
good.
the
I know
details in.
that.
And have a look at Karen's membership, because you know, it's not easy to do it on your own, and I tried to kind of do it on my own and I wasn't quite sure what I was doing, and you massively helped me, so I'm really, really grateful for that support, because it made a big difference to me, and it's made a difference to lots of people because they've
Yeah,
downloaded the course and gone on to be a winner or selected as a
yeah.
finalist of awards. So that's the impact that your business has. So thank you for joining me today. I wish you continued success with your business, and we will make sure Karen's details are in all the notes. So thank
Thank you,
you.
Debbie. Thank you.